Today I'm talking about mental age in reference to autism or ASD, autistic spectrum disorder. Now, in my last video, I spoke about the same thing but in reference to ADHD because they differ just a little bit. Again, if you're neurodivergent, all it means is your brain functions differently, and the reason why there are different diagnoses, I mean diagnoses, one or the other. Anyway, is because different parts of the brain tend to be affected and also in different levels of severity. So someone with ADHD may not have as severe, let's say, social skill difficulties as someone else with ADHD. Or maybe their behavioral issues are more obvious than someone else with ADHD, because it depends on the individual as well. Same goes for autism. It is a spectrum, meaning that there is a high end and a low end. So it depends on where you lie on that, how you're affected essentially as an individual, or how your life kind of pans out from there. Now, first, I just want to make a mention. Autism is a lifelong developmental difficulty, okay? So, and because of that, because it's lifelong, a lot of the time people tend to make the assumption it's exactly the same throughout your life. You know, if you're a kid with autism and you struggle with this, then you're going to keep struggling with it until you're old. But the thing is, the symptoms, the characteristics, how badly you're affected by them, they change over time, usually due to things like therapies, medication, self-help. And when I say self-help, I mean like methods you come up with yourself to help manage or control certain issues. Again, it depends even on the situation you're living in, you know, how you've been parented. It depends on how you grow up, your friend groups, the interactions you have through your life. Do you experience trauma? Do you not experience trauma? Is it pretty easy? Is it pretty difficult? Because all those things contribute to how you're going to end up sort of reacting to your autism or ADHD. It's complicated, but anyway, let's just get to it. So essentially, lots of the time people with autism may appear younger than they actually are or have a low mental age. Now, I've met lots of people who are under the assumption everyone with ADHD and everyone with autism is mentally younger than they are physically or chronologically, but that is not the case. Yes, studies have showed that children, especially with ADHD, tend to appear younger, or they have behaviors that are typical of someone younger than they are, but it's not everyone with autism is like that. There are plenty of people I've met as well with autism who carry themselves with the exact kind of maturity, or if you want to call it, for the age that they are. I've met children with autism who tend to act like they're a lot older, or their vocabulary is more advanced, or they tend to be more clued into situations that are happening around them, because again, it depends on the individual. It depends on where you lie on the spectrum. Now, I'm quite low on the spectrum, meaning when it comes to my behaviors, it's not so obvious, at least not all the time, you know, but lots of my issues in reference to autism come from anxiety and such. So it's more like a cognitive thing. Well, in general, it's a cognitive thing, but for me especially. However, the behaviors do represent themselves a lot of the time. Now, things like stimming, and when I say stimming, I mean the repetitive behaviors that you see a lot of people with autism doing, usually when they feel really stressed or emotional, because it's a way of them trying to like subconsciously soothe themselves or physically soothe themselves, calm down, feel like they're in control of something. And a lot of time, the behaviours that they exhibit, things, especially if they're more extreme or obvious behaviours, like rocking back and forth, hand flapping, that kind of thing. I've also things like, not running on the spot, but kind of like, not jumping, what's it? It's like walking on the spot, you know, like basically they're fidgeting, their legs are fidgeting. Now, I've seen all those kinds of things in kids when I was in school who have autism, and I've seen them in my brothers occasionally. And myself, I've even like hand flapped, especially when I was younger. But those kinds of behaviors usually will make people think, okay, they're acting a bit like a child now. It's almost like borderline tantrum, but it's just them trying to soothe themselves physically because they feel, like I said, out of control. Now, something is out of their control. And again, in some cases, if you're more severe autism, those behaviors are going to be more common for you. They're going to be more repetitive. It's not going to dawn on you as much. Perhaps you should think about the way you present yourself in society, you know, as a sort of protection. for me, it was different. For me, it was like I would do things when I felt particularly stressed, like I'd bounce my knee or I'd tap my pen. Things that, for the most part, considered pretty basic, normal behaviour, so they're easily overlooked. But it was still stimming. Now, this is the thing. These behaviours, these kinds of characteristics of autism is what make people think that they're younger. And like I said, not everyone with autism is mentally younger. You know, some are older, some are exactly the age. But yes, some people do exhibit brain activity that is mentally younger than they are chronologically. Usually that presents itself in, not just in things like behaviours, but also in things like interests. A good example is, for instance, me, I'm in my 20s. I still love cartoons, okay? And I get along with kids really, really, really well. Usually because I know where their sense of humour lies. Now, if I'm watching a TV show with my parents and it's a comedy TV show and it's got all the proper adult jokes, you know, and all the adult references or whatever, I'm like, ha ha ha, it's funny and it's kind of smart, you know, the way that it's worded. But think about it when you're a kid. When you're a kid, almost anything that sounds weird or looks weird or is out of the ordinary is funny, which is why a lot of time in cartoons you get the very childish, typical, like fart jokes or whatever, those kinds of things, right? And you find them hilarious. Then you grow out of it and you find the more adult jokes hilarious because now you're processing that information. For me, and for other people with autism who might have a lower mental age, it's like those cartoons, those things, especially because of the sudden sound or the sudden movement or like the word or like jokes that aren't funny, you know, like why did the chicken cross the road, aren't funny anymore, are still kind of funny. They are, you know, and they're attractive in a way. So it's like me, I love cartoons. I really, really adore cartoons. It's like Amazing World of Gumball comes on. It's not just my little brother's watching it. I'm watching it. I'm loving it. I'm enjoying it. It's funny, right? That kind of thing. And it's not just a nostalgia thing, because lots of adults, you know, might get nostalgic for their favourite cartoon from when the kid comes on. They'll be like, oh, I remember the tune, and watch it. For me, it's more than that. I still legitimately enjoy it. And I will have random moments when I'm relaxing, I have nothing to do, and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to watch some of that. I'm going to watch some Ben 10. I'm going to watch some Ed, Edd and Eddy. Whatever cartoon it was that I watched when I was a kid, I'm going to watch it now. SpongeBob, here we go. So that's what it's like. But at the same time, of course, I like things that are older or stereotypically older, you know, like cool, edgy movies, horror movies, anime, you know, because, you know, anime is great because it has a big range between like some anime shows that you can show someone who's like 12 and it's great. It's still got the action, it's still got the drama, it's still got whatever it is that you want it to have, but it's suitable for that age. And then you've got the anime that's like way up there, and even adults will like feel like, ooh, that was a bit much. Now, I've watched all sorts, you know, between both, and I love both equally. I can go from watching SpongeBob to watching The Walking Dead, for example. So that's what it's like. So not everyone with autism has a low mental age, but some people do, and it's all about the brain activity. And of course, there's studies to explain that. So if you want to have a look into that, you should, because it's well worth it, and it's good to keep in mind both for if you are an adult with autism, if you're a child with autism, or if you know someone with autism. So either way, it's all good. Right, now I think I'm going to end the video there, because otherwise I'll surpass 10 minutes, and I don't want to do that. Anyway, so just as I mentioned, if you like the video and you want to see more or you like any of the content, then please follow, like, comment, questions in the comments, requests in the comments, you know, any thoughts and opinions also, of course. Subscribe to the YouTube channel and repost the video because it's very, very helpful. Other than that, I hope you have a great day and I hope I'll see you in my next video. Bye!